Hello, my lovies. Welcome to another episode of Once More with Abby and Claire. I am Abby. This is my beautiful co host, Claire. We are here to discuss all things Buffy and the Buffy verse. And this episode, we are covering season 3, episode 5, Homecoming. And after that, we'll do episode 6. But to start out, Homecoming is obviously a big deal with the Scoobies, especially since, Willow's finally got a guy and Cordelia wants a limo. And you can see Xander's kind of panicking about the fact of what a limo is going to cost. And then, Willow's like, oh, well, we could all split it. And everyone kind of looks at Buffy and is like, and it gets awkward. And Willow goes, was it Willow or was it
I think it's Willow goes, well, haven't you got a date?
haven't you got a date? What, Scott didn't ask you yet? That was probably Cordelia. And of course, at that moment, Scott had walked in because she said she wasn't sure if she was going to go. And he's like, oh my God, I totally would want to go. I just thought you would think it was stupid. And let's do it. So they agree to go, a little awkward, but he's in. Back at the mansion, Angel is pacing like a caged tiger. Buffy shows up.
It is, isn't it? It's dramatic. It's very on a heath on a moor,
Yes.
tormented like a tormented soul.
um a container, a Tupperware full of blood for him, which is very sweet. And
Very kind gesture.
he's still not back to normal, you could tell. She does tell him that she hasn't told anybody that he's back. She said, I haven't told Giles, and he's like, oh, Giles. So he knows what he did to Giles. She doesn't think they'll understand. And truth be told, they won't understand. And then she tells him she's kind of dating somebody. And it's somebody she can count on. And it's like, might as well stab him in the chest again.
Yeah, might as well have just done it all over again.
And then flash right to the next morning where Scott says, I don't think we should see each other anymore, and breaks up with her. What a blow. The whole time she's being watched by these two guys in a van, and they're recording her and sending a file to an old man in a wheelchair by the name of Ian Abercrombie. He's there with Mr. Trick, our good friend. And he says, yeah, that's her. That's the target, like. So, a lackey deputy mayor, Alan Finch, Jack Plotnick, goes to see the mayor. And we have Frederick and Hans. They are German twins, and they have been seen in town, played by Joseph and Jermeen Daub.
Yes.
We finally get to meet the mayor in person, which makes me very happy. He's played by Harry Groner. He's very mild-mannered and odd.
Yeah.
Everything about him is just he's unsettling because everything should be sweet and clean, and yet he's
he is
insane.
One of the most, for me, one of the most characters I first thought, wow, what
Yes.
character. He's sinister without being sinister. There's something very special about that, especially in a TV thing. We're not talking like an Oscar-winning movie here, but there's something very much about feeling uneasy about a character that's generally coming across as being a good person, a person of authority, a
Right.
clean person,
But we've seen his fingers in everything that Snyder talks about, so we know even beforehand this is Sunnydale, and he's not going to be, Andy Griffith over here. But we've got the Scoobies posing for their senior pictures. It's adorable because they're so them. Willow, she's posing and then makes a face because it's not clicking fast enough. And so, of course, they get her awkward like. Cordelia's checking out the competition for Homecoming because obviously she's going to win. We've got Faith and Buffy training in the library, and Buffy is kicking the shit out of those bags, the punching gloves. And I think Faith says something like, oh, you should get dumped more often. It's like, but I'm sure that's exactly what she meant. Faith does suggest to Buffy that they should go to the dance together. just F it all and find some boys and
Girls
have a
out
good
on the pub,
time.
I think kind of was the premise.
Yeah, and it's pretty good. If anybody is watching, I don't know if anybody is watching right now, but if you have any hard time hearing either one of us,
Yeah,
because I
please
think we're
tell us.
having some audio issues, please let
Yeah,
us know.
we've had to come in and out a couple of times, so we're just
Because you are
watch this
very
and
low.
tell us if it's working.
Yeah, you're gonna have to shout at the camera, Claire.
All
So
right.
Buffy runs into a teacher in the common area and asks her, basically tells her, I need this letter of recommendation. I've made up all my classes, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I'm sorry, who are you? And Buffy's like,
Yeah,
Buffy Summers,
it's
and this
pretty.
what? She's like, were
It's
you?
upsetting, isn't it? It's like her favorite teacher just doesn't even know who she
Doesn't
is.
even know who she is. She's a non person, as she said. So that was a little sad for her. She's in the library with kind of bitching about the fact that, like, in her old school, she was important. She was everything. She was Buffy, and now she's just going to be a shitty picture in a yearbook somewhere. And Xander's like, "Oh no, you're not. You missed the yearbook pictures." And she's like, "Oh, and she said, well, didn't
Yeah.
Cordelia tell you? And she's like, oh, I guess I forgot, oops. So they get in a big old argument. Stuff gets a little, things are said and
Clint
things get
said he does
ugly.
hear an echo, maybe Claire hopping in and out and then back in.
Yeah,
You've
let me,
done that a couple of times, Clint.
yeah, see, I hear it on you sometimes too, but you're very low. Let me try to go out and go back in.
So I will just wait a second for Abby. We're sorry if the sound's odd tonight, guys. I don't even know what's happening. We've tried to come in and out a couple of times. We've got quite bad weather here, so I don't know if it's that that's causing me a signal problem at this moment. But we shall see when she comes back. And yeah, and if anybody's got, oh, 1 second, I think she's back. No, no.
Can you hear me? Yeah, you're still low though. And I still have an echo.
Let me just, I'll tell you what, I'll try my headset. That might help. Let's
If you
try that, shall we?
try what? So while she's doing that, basically at this point, Buffy decides to run against Cordelia because temperatures are high. And oh, wait.
Hi.
Oh, that's so much better.
Oh,
I'm
right.
still
So I've got an
echoing though.
external seat. Oh, right. Um, right. Is the echo too bad?
Let me see. No, it's better. It
Is
stopped.
it
Okay.
better? Is
It's
that
all
better?
better. Yes.
Oh,
Whatever you
excellent.
just did
So
worked.
I'm having an external speaker problem then, obviously, not a headphone problem. Right, let's crack on.
All right. So I'm still a little echoey. Anyway, Buffy decides she's running against Cordelia because she is sick and tired of Queen Cordelia getting everything. And you have awakened the prom queen within. So Mr. Trick has a group of bounty hunters ready to take out the Slayers. He has a whole production. Welcome to Slayer Fest 98.
Oh, so
Perfect.
great.
We have Willow and Xander trying on their outfits for the dance, and it's sweet. She ties his bow tie. He's just like, yeah, that's nice, that's nice. And then she puts on the last dress, and
It's
he's like,
such a moment. Such a
oh.
moment.
And then they panic about dancing. What if Willow can't dance in the dress? What if she can't dance at all? So they start dancing, and then, of course, they kiss. And then they freak out. But this is the beginning
True.
of like a very bad time for the Scoobies that I did not enjoy.
No, it kind of goes on it gets quite dark.
It's just awful. Yeah, Buffy's working on her homecoming strategy in the library. Cordelia walks in and takes over. She already has them working on her campaign. So, she's asking her friends, will you help me with this? And Cordelia's like, did you get this database done? And did you get this? And did you do this? And Willow's like, I'm sorry, she has this person, blah, 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 blah. And then my favorite line from Oz, which we use all the time, is so goes Willow, so goes my nation.
Right. I don't understand that quote because I'm English.
Oh,
and I've not looked up what it means. I see it's something to do with General Motors.
well, I think
I'm lost.
he follows his leader. So goes Willow, so
Yeah,
goes my nation. My nation is her, and
it
that's
says
how we go.
something about it's a General Motors
Really?
reference.
I'll have to look
Yeah,
that up.
I don't know if it's an advert or,
I don't remember that, but I will
but
look
that,
it up
but
because
obviously I'm English, so I don't understand that.
that could be it. I'm wearing my shirt for you. Actually, it's my Fourth of July shirt, but I'm wearing it for you
I
today.
love it. It's beautiful.
Buffy gets stopped by Scott. He tells her that, she has his vote, and Buffy is playing the part, guilts Willow into helping her. She wants to bust into Cordelia's database and everything, and Willow's a pushover, so And they're still being watched by the twins, and Jonathan's back. We love Jonathan. He's coming in all the time now. Tells Buffy that Cordelia gave him cash, and
$6.
she gave me $6, and so she and Buffy get in an ugly argument. I
Oh,
mean,
it's
their
ugly.
words,
It's
crazy freak,
nasty.
vapid whore. I mean, you got Willow and Xander like, everybody's bad, and
I literally wrote down the rabbit hawk quote because it was
vapid
funny.
whore. It's just my favorite. I've called people vapid whore so many times in my life.
So,
So the day of the dance, Buffy looks beautiful as always. You don't usually see her in red. It's a
no.
nice contrast to what she's usually more pinks and demure. She gets into the limo, and only Cordelia is in the limo with her. Turns out they were set up to work out their problems.
Yes.
And the note says, P.S. The limo was not cheap, work it out. And Cordelia says, oh, we got, what do you call them?
Corsages.
Corsages also. I took the orchid because she's,
Yeah, because
um,
it's Cordelia. I must say,
she's
Cordelia, though, in that green dress looks stunning.
stunning. That color
It's
works for her. Also, not something you normally see her in.
no, and
But
she looks beautiful in it.
it is such a good color for her. Um, one of the twins we notice is driving, and they're in the back seat arguing when the car stops, and not in the prom. And they're in the woods, and there's
Yeah.
a TV that says press play, and this is like one of those moments, those Saw moments. You're like, I don't wanna, but it's Mr. Trick telling them that they're about to be hunted, and welcome to Slayer Fest '98, and run for your lives. And clearly, they think it is Buffy and Faith in the limo, not Buffy and Cordelia. And then the TV self destructs, as it always does in monster shows.
I love the fact of the old tech in this episode. I must
The
be
giant
honest.
box TV and
It
the
dates it so
VCR.
much. It's perfect. It
It's
dates it
so
so
good.
much.
We're at the dance. Oz's band is playing, which I love.
Yeah.
Xander and Willow are guilty. Uh, we're back to Buffy. She takes out one of the hunters, and he tells them everything. Like, he just spills his shit right off the bat. Like,
Yeah.
it's this person, and he's here, and she has his gun, which is good. This is my favorite part. Faith runs into Scott at the dance with another girl.
So good.
And this is what my friends and I do for each other. So I love it.
Yeah,
But he
I've had
basically
friends that have done this.
walks up to him and says, I saw a doctor, not to worry. The rash will go away and the burning will stop, and the itching and swelling should go away in time. And that was funny. And then she looks
It was
very
good.
uncomfortable, and he looks a little, but it was a nice moment. Buffy and Cordelia find a cabin to hide in, which is never a good idea, but okay. She calls Giles and gets part of the message out, but the phone goes dead. And I think it was Cordelia says, why is it anywhere I go, it always ends up in violence and terror? And she's like, welcome to my life. It was, so she has the gun, and she's like, besides, I look cute in a tiara. It's just my beautiful
And
mother.
she does. She's not wrong.
And she does. Big yellow demon guy busts in. Big fight. Rocket launcher. Cordelia and Buffy dive out the window. Yellow demon does not make it.
No.
He gets blowed up.
Gets
So,
bloated up.
one of the or two of the people that are hunting Buffy is the Gorch. Remember the Gorch brothers?
Gorge Brothers,
It's the
yeah.
living Lyle Gorch and his new wife Candy Gorch.
Candy, who are adorably redneck.
adorably redneck. So they have knocked Giles out in the library because they figure Buffy's going to come for her watcher no matter what.
Yeah.
Mr. Trick and the old man are watching everything. There's a knock at the door, and Mr. Trick gets dragged away by police, which is a fun little scene.
Yeah, it's
and,
fun.
You know, he pulls a, you don't know who I am, but so basically the girls make it to the library and are attacked by the Gorch brothers. I mean, by Candy Gorch, and accidentally, I don't even know if it was on purpose, but Candy Gorch gets slayed by a spatula.
Yeah, I
And
think the
she literally
spatula
gets the
theme
end
in
of
this is absolutely great with
I think it's
Cordelia
one of
with the
those moments
spatula.
where people just fall into each other.
Mm.
And then Cordelia, she intimidates Lyle Gorge and basically says,
It's so
"Look,
fun.
you know all the trouble you've had with her, and she's just the runner-up. I'm the queen." Like, and he just
Yeah, it's
he
good.
runs. It was perfect. They at that moment do realize that the corsages have been bugged and that
Yes.
somebody is listening to everything they have, and they're in the school right now. The Germans are tracking them, so Buffy throws the corsage. It's like a cool moment because the old man's watching the beep beep beeps, and as the one German goes by, she chucks her corsage onto him, and the other guy shoots, and they end up killing each other, which I think is great. And the old
It
man
is
thinks he
great.
won.
It is great. Again with the old tech and the sort of
Yeah,
bleep bleep
because the
bleep
old
on the
dude's like,
screen
"We
and stuff.
won,"
Yeah.
instead of like Pong, you know. But
Yeah.
so it turns out Mr. Trick has been brought to meet our friend the mayor. Mayor Wilkins, who we love. He says that's an exciting suit. Like every way he phrases things makes me laugh.
But Trick's purple velvet suit is pretty awesome, you know.
He reminds me, there is an old blues man in New Orleans that I met first time at my friend's wedding, and then back in New Orleans, called Walter Wolfman Washington. And Mr. Wolfman Washington always has an exciting suit, you know, like
We
for the
like a
wedding
good
in a
suit.
completely red suit with the red shoes and the whole bit. But it's
Yeah.
amazing. But I digress.
Clint says, Slade with a spatula, flip them over because they're done.
Because they're done. Thank you, sir.
It is cool, the spatula bit. There's a whole bit as well where they pass it backwards and forwards just before that. It's pretty fun. It is a fun
It's just,
thing.
I love the gore. I mean, I think it's the last time we see Gorge, to be honest with you.
I think it is the last time we see Gorge. I'm pretty
but I
sure.
do
I
like
don't
him a
remember seeing
lot.
him again.
I think, you know, maybe two's enough for him. But
Yeah, I think he's enough.
so the mayor's telling Mr. Trick, "Look, I just want things to run smoothly. You know, it's a very important year for him." And Trick's like, "Oh yeah, election year." And he's like, "Yeah, among other things."
Kind of.
Something like that. And we'll find out what that something is later. He tells him, "I need you on my team." So we go back. That's the last we see of the mayor and Trick for this episode. And we go back to homecoming. And Buffy and Cordelia come in looking like they got dragged behind a truck.
Yeah.
And Sanders like, "Oh my God, you did try to kill each other."
Mhm.
But the what's his name? The singer from the Dingoes, I'm blanking on his name. Anyway, he announces
Yeah.
the homecoming queen. Turns out there's a tie. It's Holly Charleston and Michelle Blake. So neither one of them won, which
Yeah, which is a nice little twist.
Yeah, that's kind of perfect. So that's what I have for this here episode.
Yeah, I think it's an absolutely awesome episode. It's not the best. It's kind of throwaway, but it's kind of a monster of the week yet again. I love the whole monster montage where they're training for Slayer Fest. It's like it's only a minute of stuff.
I love a good montage, you know.
Me too, and that's so good. The guy who plays the yellow Kulak demon is actually Angel's stunt double.
Really?
Yeah, and they used him for that episode as a
great.
demon. Yeah, which is a nice little thing. Obviously, we have some little bits of music in here as well. Fell into Loneliness by Laurie Carson. Jodie Foster by the Pinehurst Kids. How by Lisa Loeb. Fire Escape by Fastball. And She Knows by Four Star Mary, which are
We are named
Dingoes Ate My Baby.
We love them.
Yeah, I think as an episode goes, it's really nice to kind of see them all dressed differently, as you say. Like there was a lot of Everyone got to dress up. It's like
It's
it's
a
not prom yet, but
fun
it's the homecoming
episode.
story. It's a really fun episode. The Slayer Fest thing's pretty fun. As I say, the brothers
My
are awesome. The
friend
fact they're back.
Meg, I hope she's watching this, but I know she's working. She and I used to do Slayer Fest. We would come over. She'd come over to my house, and we'd make
Yeah,
nachos like you wouldn't believe, and all the fried crap you could. And we would just watch
sounds
Buffy.
amazing.
And we called it Slayer Fest, whatever year it was. But
Sounds perfect.
it was lovely. I miss her. And
But
she's
yeah,
in Universal right now. So close, but yet so far.
oh, awesome.
So yeah, that was a great episode. Like I said, it's one
Yeah.
of I enjoy a fun episode that kind of takes away from the heaviness that's
Yeah,
coming.
I kind of class it as a fun Monster of the Week episode, and
Mhm.
it's good for that. It's a nice little break.
And
I
the
think
next one as well
I think the
which
next one for me, as we know, is a different level.
is your favorite. So the
One of
next
my very
episode,
favorites.
season 3, episode 6, Band Candy, and again. And if you know anything about my friend Claire here, it's just something about Giles in the Ripper
It's
mode. But
such a great thing. It was so unexplored. It absolutely kills me.
I know they need to do more of that. But so we open up with Buffy and Giles. They're studying in the cemetery, kind of making use of all their time between slaying and studying. And Mr. Trick is in a meeting again with the mayor, and the mayor opens his closet, and like all this, there's like all this voodoo hoodoo stuff in there. He's got a lot of ties in the black magic realm, it seems.
Yes.
Buffy is telling Giles that, look, my mom's all over me, preparing for college and all this such, and she's talking with Willow, and then we see President kill me, Principal Snyder handing out boxes of candy, which I used to love when the girls at work, when their kids were doing that, because you're like, oh, let's have it. He said it's band candy, and he wants them to sell as much as they can to make money for new outfits for the marching band. And I love that they're like, we're not in the marching band. And he's like, I didn't ask you if you had a tuba. Like, let's do this. You could sell this shit. So
See, it's a foreign concept yet again, like Girl Scout cookies. It's a foreign concept. We don't have that.
really,
We don't have people selling
how do you
chocolate
live
bars.
without Girl Scout cookies, man? That's like
Well, I have them because I have the ones that were sent from
from
Nicole and all the
US,
guys,
yes.
and you lot. You all sent me great things, and they're still in the box. And I'm hoping very soon I'm going to get this done because I've left them and I don't want to touch them. They're all in date.
Oh
I've checked,
yeah, you don't want them to
everything's
go
fine.
bad.
Well,
Yeah, we
it
have to
seems
do an
that your
unboxing.
kind of things last forever.
Yeah, some of it. But as long as the cookies aren't open, you just don't want them stale.
No,
But,
everything's all sealed and ready for me to go with it. So I do actually have Girl Scout cookies to try.
there was a Girl Scout troop that did the most brilliant thing. They set their little stand up right outside the medical marijuana shop.
Good plan. Good
Yeah.
plan.
So Buffy's basically trying to get Joyce to buy the whole thing of candy bars. And so she agrees to buy 20 instead of 40 because she is the best mom, or because she is a good mom. And Buffy says, but not the best mom, because if you were the best mom, you would let me get my driver's license. And then that starts a big fight with them. And Joyce is kind of annoyed that Buffy's leaving to go study with Giles again. And she feels like he's monopolizing her time and with everything that's been going on. And so she's like, look, I know we got to work this out. So she's with Giles, and he's got her blindfolded to try to like find her enemy without
it's
sight.
So good.
And it's so good. And she does test it, and she's quite good at it. But then she tells him, I got to go. And he's like, what? I thought we were going to patrol. And she's like, my mom, she's all over me and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So it's telling mom I'm with dad, and dad I'm with mom.
It's the ultimate teen fake out.
Yeah, it's perfect. But Joyce has been in hyperdrive, and we all know she's actually going to see Angel because, come on, she's Buffy. So
Obviously.
we see Angel doing his topless Tai Chi, and all I kept thinking was
There's always
William
time for topless
Sadler's
Angel.
naked Tai Chi. But he's definitely feeling better, still weak, awkward and uncomfortable between the two of them. He asks her about Scott to make it even more uncomfortable, and she doesn't tell them that they broke up, which I think is good because he doesn't need to know that right now.
No, he didn't.
When Buffy gets home, Joyce is waiting, and she's like, oh, Giles, and then turns out Giles is there too. So they parent trapped her, and they got her there, and and they tell her, look, you lied to us, you lied to Willow, we even checked
It's
with
so
her.
obvious, though. Even in the first couple of seconds, there's something
Oh,
wrong.
as soon as Joyce is standing there, you know something's wrong. I've had that before. You just never get away from that. Um, they tell her she's acting terribly immature and, you know, you should go to bed. We're all tired. So Buffy goes off to bed. And the whole time, Joyce is just sitting there eating candy. And then they sit down on the couch and Giles is eating the candy too. And they're all snacking on bandits.
It's the great moment when he just sits on the side and he says, "Your mum's right." Now, knowing how it's silly because he's English, he got it right. Because in our country, mum is like the soft term for mother. Mam is even softer from where I come from. But like someone like Giles and the character he's playing would have said mother.
Right.
And the
Exactly.
fact he
because he's
changed it in that second, it's so like soft English. It's so like I've reverted back to my roots at that. And it
Yeah.
sounds so simple, but to someone English,
But
it
you know
shows
what?
out
Yeah, it's
straight
not
away.
something I would have picked up on. So we see the factory where they're manufacturing all the chocolate, and we see an employee go to sneak a chocolate bar, and then our friend Ethan Rain walks up behind him and he's like, dude, trust me.
Oh, we all
you
hate
don't wanna eat
Ethan.
that. You don't want to eat that. So they're in study hall. Giles is late. Giles is never late. He's on time for everything. And Xander and Willow are disgusting, playing footsies under the table. I
Yeah,
want to
it's
slap
pretty
them.
cringe. It's very cringe.
So cringe. Um, all the teachers are acting childish. Snyder, especially, he makes me laugh. Turns out Giles never showed up for school, and he's like, he tells the one teacher, he's like, "You have to go do it. I don't want to, and I'm the principal." You know, and he makes her go in. So Buffy's nervous because Giles never just doesn't show up. So she goes to his house, and the door is unlocked, and she just walks in, and he's down in the living room looking at record albums, and Joyce is there, and they're supposedly working on a coordinated schedule for Buffy's time because they know they've been pulling her in all these directions, and but we're not quite done yet, so could you go back to school, please? So she takes it and she leaves, and then they're sitting there smoking and drinking, like, yeah, she's
It's great.
gone.
She's drinking out of a bottle of Jameson's, and it's great.
And then, but Joyce is like, here, Buffy, take my car and go. And we know that's not Joyce. So Buffy is driving around with a terrified Willow. Buffy's a terrible driver. And she's like, Willow's like, do you know you have the parking brake on? And she's like, oh, yeah, totally. And she's like, arr. So, back at Giles's house, the two of them, it's like the best scene ever, just totally acting like
just
teenagers.
that's why I used it for the trailer this week. It is the best scene ever. Listening
love
to
it.
Cream, you know, like it's just so good. And like, wait, even when she takes the hair gel out of her purse to pass to him, it's just perfect.
It is, and you know, like, why do they call you Ripper? Wouldn't you like to know?
Cute.
He's so, and he just slips into it so beautifully. So they decide to go to the Bronze because, you know, why not? And then all of the parents are there, like all the old people are there acting like teenagers. Mrs. Barton, the teacher, that the study hall teacher's there.
She's wasted.
Ask if she's okay. She's like, I'm okay, Willow. Willow, that's a tree. Hi, tiny tree. Do you know where the nachos are?
Yeah,
Like, she was
brilliant.
so goofy. I love her. Little tree, she called her. And Snyder's there, like, trying to act all cool and dweebish, like he's, I'm so cool. And every grown up, there's like people trying to crowd surf, like taking their shirts off. They're singing karaoke. They knocked the band off. Like, they're like, and then Snyder starts telling them, he's like, I'm the principal. I got an accommodation from the mayor. He even shook my hand twice. Like, he's so excited about the fact that he's like a big, and then he runs off to meet some foxy ladies because, you know, he's going to get some. So turns out Mr. Trick is working with Ethan, clearly. My favorite part is Snyder comes up to Oz and he's like, you have great hair.
Yeah.
He does have great hair. So yeah, the old people have taken over the Bronze. Snyder tries to hang with the Scoobies, and they decide they've got to go find Joyce and Giles. So they jump in the car and Snyder jumps in with them and they're like, great, he's here. She's like, there's no time. So they're driving and again, she's driving and he's just like, whoa, Summers, you drive like a spaz. And
Yeah,
it's
it's
just like,
so funny.
he's so
Snyder is
goofy.
great. He's
He's
so
my,
good in
him
this.
and I want to just do him and Ripper in a whole episode together.
Oh God, yeah, perfect. Absolutely.
They got grown-ups drag racing down the street. They're making out. They're being goofy. And turns out Giles or Ripper and Joyce are walking down the street looking hot, by the way. Joyce
Oh
in that
God.
outfit with that long skirt is gorgeous. And Giles is hot. So, yeah.
Yeah, let's be honest, right? I did look as well because on a rewatch, it's been a while, and I thought, I know he was only doing sort of combat choreography. There was no
Right.
real fighting, but I thought maybe they got somebody in or a body double for some of the bits, like where he jumped over like that table and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
No,
no, it's
he's in
all
great
him.
shape. Or he was at this
Oh,
time.
he looks great. He looks amazing.
She sees something in the window of a shop and he's like, do you fancy it? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, all right. And she's like, but the store's closed. And of course he smashes through the window, grabs the jacket for her.
Such a great scene.
Then Buffy ends up getting T-boned in an intersection and it was not her fault.
Joyce gets T-boned and all.
Yeah. Her other driver was not, the other car was a couple of adult teenagers, being stupid. Giles ends up beating up a cop, and then they start making out on top of the police car, which we'll find out in another episode in the future what they actually do, but we'll just pretend we don't.
Yeah, we'll just pretend we don't know what happened.
That they did it twice on top of a police car. But anyway, so Buffy realizes all the grown-ups are wandering the streets, but there's like no one protecting their homes. So where are all the vampires? Because this doesn't make any sense. So I don't know how she comes up with this so quickly, but she sees them all shoving the chocolate in their face. She realizes there's got to be a curse on the candy. So she goes with Rat Boy Snyder, like she calls him, to the factory and comes across Joyce and Giles making out, and Joyce is being so petulant, like a teenager, like Buffy. Arguing with everything, and Buffy's like, no more candy for you, and she's like, I can have candy if I want candy, I'm an adult. And they get in this big fight, but she's not even mad that Buffy wrecked the car. She's like, not even, she sees the car and she's like, I can't believe I actually brought a geek machine, like, who let me do that?
It's great.
Seeing yourself through younger eyes, I suppose. Buffy fights her way into the factory and brings Joyce and Giles with her. They send Snyder off. But Snyder says, hey, Britface, wait up. And I like that. I like his little quips. Britface. I don't know why that made me laugh.
Yeah.
Buffy sees Ethan. He runs. Buffy and Ripper chase him. I do love that Giles gets out of breath pretty quick. And she's like, lay off the cigarettes, pal. Because he's been smoking.
Yeah, it is funny.
Willow, Xander, Oz, and Cordelia are in the library looking what they can, find out. And I really hate the whole longing looks and touchy-touchies because it hits a sore spot for me. But we have Ethan's right. I mean, it's just like a maze of boxes, this factory.
Yeah,
there's like
hundreds
of thousands of boxes of chocolates. And then somehow Buffy knows with her, her spidey senses that he is hiding in this crate, and she just kicks the crate open and finds herself in Ethan.
Yeah.
And Joyce and Snyder are just sitting on the table eating chocolate bars, and he tries to make a move on her. But she does the whole eye roll and walks away. It was great. Buffy's questioning Ethan, and Giles, hit him, just hit him. And she's like, then she finally hits him. He's like, yes, do it again. It was so
that
funny.
whole "You're my Slayer" thing is just so great.
It's so good. That's my Slayer. So he does tell them that it's all about a tribute, and the tribute is so big that the people had to be out of it to give the tribute. And that later, when the candy wore off, they'd have no one to blame but themselves. So, it's something big. Turns out, babies. You see the vampires walk into the hospital, and they're stealing all the newborns out of the newborn unit. I just blanked on what it's called. So I took Taekwondo at the Y. I don't
God,
know
that's
why. He
so
just
funny. The
everything about him.
taekwondo bit is hilarious.
I just need to. I will watch this episode again probably this week just for
It's one of
fun.
my favorites. It's so good.
And so it's the tribute is to a demon named Lorconus. It's
Mm.
every 30 years. It's a ritual feeding of babies, as we
Yeah.
said. So Lurconus dwells beneath the city. Lurconus means glutton, and we will find it in the sewers. And then he's like, wow, did I say that? Like he's so Snyder and Giles at this point are hysterical. They're just making me laugh. So the ritual is taking place in the sewers, and the babies are being anointed by the vampire in charge. There's like 5 babies. The mayor's there. He's sitting there calling the city about, hey, have someone look at these pipes, while he's down there. He's still
Yeah.
working. He's like a good mayor. Buffy jumps in, starts fighting. Ripper and Joyce go to steal babies back, and they hear a rumbling, and this large snake comes out of the sewer, like, monstrous size, and eats the vampire she just flipped over.
Yeah.
And it comes back for Giles, and Buffy knocks the gas pipe down and lights it on fire with the torch and just fries him, which is a cool scene for bad
It's
CGI.
pretty.
But
Yeah, do you know exactly what was? I was like, oh god, the CGI. We're in season 3. It's
bad
notorious. And
CGI.
Rich was
But
like, Rich even turned around and he was like, do you know what? For what it was, this
it
is
was
not bad.
amazing then. Yes, it's
Yeah.
just now. So Mr. Trick runs, but he does tell them, he'll be back. And the mayor clearly is not pleased because all of his work has gone to shit here. But somebody does say, I don't remember if it was Mr. Trick, he's like, hey, it's one less, demon you have to pay tribute to. We did you a favor. And I remember Trick grabs him. Just be careful how many favors you do for me. Like it's you think you're
cool.
funny, but you're not funny. And then at school the next morning, everything is back to normal, and Snyder is extra cranky. He said he's looking for some volunteers to clean up the vandalism that happened on Friday, and they look, and the place is trash. And it says across the lockers, "Kiss rocks," and she's like, "Kiss rocks? Who would want to kiss?" Oh, I love her little dumb willowisms for such a.
She's so great.
Oh wait, I get it. Buffy's talking with Giles. It's adorable. Joyce comes to pick up Buffy, and there's kind of this awkward moment between Joyce and Giles. And Buffy says, at least I got to you guys before you did anything. And they're like, mm-hmm. So,
but we don't know about that. That was a look. It could mean anything.
Could mean anything. Yeah, we don't find out till later, but that was.
I think it's like, is it season 5? No, 6. I think it's 6.
No, it's the one where she hears the thoughts, the one that they didn't air for Columbine. So that is.
I thought that was I thought it was later with the 3 when they made her hear people's thoughts.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, not when she was invisible.
I think it was the hearing of the thoughts.
Oh, is it?
Her,
oh, well, yeah. You're probably right though. It'll be me on a tangent.
All
right, so it's not that far away then.
Twice on a cop car. Like it was just.
Oh no!
And she starts freaking out. But yeah, such a good episode. It's one of my very faves.
Yeah, definitely for me, it is one of my favorite episodes ever. I think just as we know, I love Giles, and I think it's just really silly, but in a good way. It's written well. It's fun. I mean, Joyce and Giles, they steal the show in this episode completely.
And look at their outfits, like the way whoever does the art
styled
design
it, yeah.
Everything was perfect. So the way he had his sweater, his flannel tied around his waist, it's just so.
And the boots and the jeans and her with the coat,
and the way he carried himself, which is so different from, tweed Giles.
Yeah, completely. It's just that it's the only time we ever see that full side of him in the entire thing. We've had glimpses of what he could have been like,
right?
But we never actually saw it until this episode. And I think it's just great.
Yeah, we learned the first time Ethan came in with the demon. Yes. We learned a little bit, but this was seeing it in action. His, disregard for authority and
exactly
is great.
I think as well as we obviously not getting ahead, but as we go on, we also see certain points where he loses it again, but he's still Giles. But there's little points and things he does that come to pass that
Yeah.
that side does pop out again, and it's kind of I always arc back to those Ethan Rain kind of episodes like this one where you first heard the story, and it's what you imagine in his head, that's going on at that time when he does things that are to come up later. Certain things he does. But yeah, it's pretty great. To mention the teacher, Miss Barton. Her name's Peg Stewart. I didn't have a chance to look what else she was in. I can't see anything, huge. But I recognise her face from probably lots of different things.
Oh yeah, she's probably one of those. Let's see what she's in. Peggy Stewart. Passed away in 2019 at 95. God bless her.
Yeah, she was awesome though. Absolutely great.
She was perfect
again,
for it. Nothing
with the
I know.
music stuff, the Cream track. We'll go to the music. Cream track was Tales of Brave Ulysses, obviously, when they're laid on the floor, which is a classic, absolutely. Clapton and that, it's perfect. And then we have Blaze by Mad Cow, Violent by 4-Star Mary, obviously, who is Dingo Ate My Baby, and Slip Jimmy by Every Bit of Nothing. Also for Giles fans, which I know I am, is in a Mike Hodges film in 1987 called A Prayer for the Dying. He plays a Cockney thug named Rupert.
That's the third time he's played a Rupert.
Yeah, and it's a movie worth checking out as he takes most of his clothes off. Apparently.
Ooh.
So that's a little one for that.
So
but yeah, other than that,
third Rupert that he plays.
Yeah. But I think this is a genius episode. It was written by someone who comes back quite a lot and writes a lot during the seasons, Jane Espenson.
I'll take your word for that.
Yeah, but she comes up quite a bit. I think it's the first one. She also directed episodes of. Hang on, I had it somewhere. Deep Space Nine, Dinosaurs. Wow,
I love that show.
Cool. And some episodes of Ellen. So there you go. And that's kind of what I've got there this week.
Well, that sounds lovely to me. Next week is, you and I will talk to see whether or not we'll do it our Halloween episode. I don't actually.
We don't know. We may be doing a Halloween episode, guys.
The episode themselves that we will be covering are called Revelations.
Yep.
And Lovers Walk.
That's it. Lovers Walk. Yep. I know where we are.
And it's going to be a good time. So we look forward to seeing you all next week. We apologize for the confusion at the beginning with the sound.
Yeah, we apologize. I just wanted to mention one quick thing that is really kind of not related, but is.
Okay.
I think you'll probably know because you've seen me post a lot about an artist called Ren Gill. He's a new artist. He's not new. He's been around for a very, very long time. But he's new pretty much as he's just becoming where people are actually recognising who he is.
Okay.
He started out in our country, I think 13 years ago, he put his first song on YouTube. He's been a busker. He's worked with a band quite a lot, The Big Push, for a lot of years. But basically, his album has gone in at number 2 this week. He's not signed. He's an independent artist. This is unusual in our country for this to happen. My point is to do with Buffy is he writes a lot about autoimmune disease, and I know that's very important to me and Abby. Also, people who suffer with long-term health issues, people who suffer with mental health issues. He's had a lot of it himself after being diagnosed as having Lyme's disease after being bitten by a tick. And he's been pretty much spent this entire year in Canada having treatment. And he writes pretty much how he feels. The album he's got out at the moment is called Sick Boy. And it's actually an R&B sort of album. But if anybody wants to listen to a song if you do anything today, go to listen to a song called Hi Ren. It's an art piece.
Can we put a link?
I'm going to do a link. I'm going to do a link for everyone. If you go on my pages anywhere, there'll be a post about it. If you want to find him on anything, it's Ren Makes Music. Up till midnight tonight, he's got a chance to go to #1 in this country.
That's
so any
exciting.
downloads bought in the UK, he could hit #1. And this is somebody who has entered as an unsigned artist who has done everything on his own. And so he hasn't even been able to do a show for a year because he's in Canada having treatment.
That's though.
Yeah, and the album's amazing. And I will put links up.
That's
but
awesome.
Yeah, I think you'll love it.
Yeah.
I shall put Hi Ren in our group chat as well, which I think I have done before. But it's excellent.
Probably. I think I usually I don't ever remember names of things, but I'm going to work on remembering that. Because
it's amazing. Definitely worth it. Obviously, thanks to all our other people that we love. Thanks to the Hammerville Horror Podcast, our family. We love those very, very much. Thank you to Scream Until You Like It, which is our other family, which we love very, very much. Also, our other family.
Other family.
Horror movies of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And our very good friends and family, Perfect Third Podcast.
Perfect Third Podcast.
And all these people are available on all platforms. Also, thank you to my husband, Richard, who does all our technicals.
And I would like to wish you both a happy anniversary, as yesterday was their 15th
wedding anniversary. You get less for murder, apparently.
Yeah.
You do in my country, anyway. Definitely.
It's sad but true. But you know what? We love them.
Yes. Right, so we love you all. Abby, I'll let you finish off.
I think that's all I have for today. Thank you guys so much for everything. Thanks for sticking with us and making this so much fun for us. Clint, thanks for always stopping in. I know you.
Yes, thank you, Clint, for always being in and always supporting us. We appreciate you so much.
And we love you guys.
We love you all.
Bye.
Bye, 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 bye.